evening, everyone. I'm Kay Donaldson, the director of the Alabama Bass Trail Tournament Series, and we are doing this live tonight to discuss the 2023 Alabama Bass Trail Tournament season. The reason we're doing this is because we have received probably a record amount of calls, texts, and emails as it regards to the 2023 season and how registration will go. I want to make very clear that we're going to answer as many of the questions that we've had come in on a regular basis. We will not get to everything tonight, but we want to make sure that we get to as many of these questions as we can so that you have a full understanding of how registration will work and that you have everything that you need at your fingertips in order to register on Monday, August the 15th at 6 a.m. Central Time. First of all, I want to thank you for your interest in the Alabama Bass Trail. It is very humbling and sobering to us that you have shown as much interest in our 10th year and our 10th season as you have. It is quite humbling when we receive the amount of text and phone calls that we've received so far this year. I also want to make very clear to you before you register for the Alabama Bass Trail to please make sure that you have read the rules. There are some things contained in those rules that you need to know prior to signing up. There are some dates in there that are very specific dates that you need to make sure that your payments are made, your alternate information is entered, any changes are made, and also the refund policy if you wish to get a refund. And I will go over that just a little bit, but it doesn't take over you reading the rules before you sign up. It is imperative that you do that. Make sure that you understand the rules about registration, the rules about refunds, all the dates and everything. I will tell you that I am not going to beg you for information. If you do not get text messages from us or emails from us, that's your own fault because you've entered your information incorrectly, or you've changed your email and didn't tell us, or you've changed cell phone numbers and didn't tell us. I will be very clear. We heavily send out information via text message and via email. So please make sure that those pieces of information are correct. As of right now, we are currently doing priority registration. That is for teams who fished with us in the 2022 season. There are 5 or 6 different reasons that they could change their partner and still utilize priority registration. And that is if they have a death of one of the teammates, they can register during priority and fill that spot. That is of no fault of their own. So we do allow them to utilize priority registration. Also, partial or total disability of one of the members, we will allow them to replace that member during priority registration. Anyone who qualifies for a professional trail, whether it be the Elite Series, the Bass Pro Tour, the Tackle Warehouse Tour, or the NPFL. If one of the teammates qualifies for that, then the other team member can register during priority registration and fish the Alabama Bass Trail with a new partner. Military deployment, if you have your papers that say that you're going to be deployed, your partner can sign up with someone new because you are going to be out of the country on military deployment. The other is a hardship due to the pandemic. That should be put in writing to Scott Dobbins, our tournament director, no more than 30 days before all changes are due, which would be January the 11th of 2023. And also any hardship that might fall under any medical hardship, financial hardship, anything like that, that may, one year we had a gentleman whose house was devastated in a hurricane just 2 months prior to the season opening. And so he asked for a hardship on that. So those have to be directed to Scott Dobbins 30 days prior to the date that the changes are due, which for this season would be January the 11th of 2023. All right. As you've probably seen on social media, as you've probably heard if you've been in the local tackle store talking about the Alabama Bass Trail, that we have an enormous waiting list each year. We had 106 on the waiting list in the Southern Division this year. We had 94 on the waiting list in the North Division this year. So that being said, those are for the waiting list for 2022. They do not receive any preferential treatment going into the 2023 season. So if you were on the waiting list last year, you might want to get ready for August the 15th, which is 1 week from today. I just want to remind everyone that don't think just because we had a long waiting list last year that you don't have a chance to get in this year. So I did want to remind everybody that the waiting list is not for 2023. New teams, that would be anyone who is fishing with a new partner this year that maybe didn't fish with that partner last year, fishing with a new partner, or a brand new team that has never fished the Alabama Bass Trail. That is who will start registration on August the 15th at 6 a.m. and that's Central Standard Time. All times in the Alabama Bass Trail rules, anytime we talk about times, they will be based on Central Standard Time, or as we refer to them as Alabama time. I do want to, one of the questions that's asked is about couples teams, student teams, and college teams. Couples team is a man and a woman. It can be a father and daughter. It can be a husband and wife. It can be two friends. It can be, as long as it is a male-female team, that is what we recognize as a couples team. And the benefit of a couples team is that we do take the top 5 of those teams to the championship. Your points are held separately, and we do take the top 5 to the championship later on, which will be at Weiss Lake in 2023. Student team, let me be clear about this. You don't necessarily have to fish for your high school team in order to qualify as a student team. You can fish 2 students, but you can have 1 adult and 1 student as long as you are registered in school, whether it be private, a public school, or a homeschool. And then also college. Now, this is a little bit different. Our college teams do have to be registered in college. They don't necessarily have to fish for their college team, but they do need to be fully registered in school and be able to provide us with a valid college ID. So that is how we determine how you fit in the categories. Again, top 5 college teams, top 5 couples, and the top 15 student teams go to the championship. So we do keep your points separate. And if you'd like to visit the Alabama Bass Trail website, you can go on there and see how the points are kept separate. One way that you will notice if the registration has flipped from the priority registration to the new team registration, Chris is going to show a screen here now. This is what it will look like once it flips from priority registration to new team registration. If you're sitting there hitting refresh, as long as it is asking for a team ID, we are still under priority registration. Once you hit refresh and you see this screen here, that is going to tell you that we are now accepting registrations for new teams. This is just a screenshot. This is what it looks like. You will either choose the North or South division, and then you will hit submit, and it will take you on to the next screen. We are not going to go screen by screen tonight. I am going to go over what you will need, but this is your indicator that we have now gone from priority registration to new team registration for the 2023 season. All right, Mr. Chris. This is what it will look like when we go public. The next thing I want to talk about is registration fees. You have 2 ways that you can pay your registration fees. You have a $500 non-refundable deposit, and that is non-refundable. So it's not non-refundable if, and buts. It's non-refundable across the board. If you move out of the state, if you lose your job, unfortunately, that is a non-refundable deposit, and we cannot refund that if you choose to use the $500 option. We do, however, have about half or maybe a little over half that opt to do that. That is completely up to you. Your space is reserved whether you pay the deposit or whether you pay the full amount. So that is, it doesn't matter to us, except I do need to be honest and upfront with you and let you know that it is a non-refundable $500 deposit. Your balance of $800 would be due January the 11th of 2023. That is approximately 30 days prior to our first tournament of the year at Smith Lake. So $500 deposit and an $800 balance payment. That balance payment cannot be broken up into $200 payments. It is $500 and then $800. That is done that way to keep us from having multiple credit card charges on one registration. We are charged by the bank to collect that credit card, and so we don't want you making 7 payments toward your registration fees. It costs us more money, and that means we have to go up on entry fees and cost you more money. So that's not what we want to do. $500 at the time of registration, $800 due by January the 11th of 2023. Your other option is to pay in full at the date of registration, and that's $1,300. That is for all 5 tournaments in your division. If you make it into the top 75 in points or win an event, you're automatically in the championship, and it is a no entry fee, $100,000 cash championship. So there is no cost to go to our championship. Once you submit, click your division and you click submit. The next screen, it's going to take you to team member number 1's information. This is important information that we need. So please take your time, type everything out correctly. Also, we need your legal name. We do not need, I'm going to pick on him for just a minute, but Fat Daddy. One year I had Fat Daddy Hatcher in my registration. I need your legal name. So I really need it to say K Donaldson. Then I need your address, your full address with city, state, and zip code. Please make sure that you enter that correctly. We do send out tax information at the end of the year, so that's all done by mail. So please make sure that you enter that. Also, we'll need your cell phone number. Again, 99% of the communication you get from us is via text message or email. So name, address, cell phone number, email address, and date of birth. We will need that information for both team members. The reason we need date of birth is if you are claiming you're a student team or claiming you're a collegiate team, we need to make sure that those dates match. Also, if you are a school or government employee and you give us an email address that is addressed to the school or to a government agency, just notice that a lot of times we are firewalled. They will not allow our emails to come into that system simply because we have a lot of graphics, our sponsor graphics and things like that on the email. So sometimes they are blackballed and you do not receive those emails. So please make sure that you give us an email that you feel confident that we will be able to email you back and forth. And that way, that's how we communicate 90% of the time. Guys, we have 1,100 anglers, and it would be very difficult for us to pick up the phone and call each one of you to let you know of a change or to let you know, to bring this or that. Just make sure that we have good text message information and good email information. Also, there is an alternate partner that you can assign. For those of you trying to get in for the first time on the Alabama Bass Trail, I encourage you to not enter your alternate information at that time. It does take quite a bit of time if you don't know their name and address, birth date, email address, and cell phone number. You can always go back and enter that after the 15th. There will be a link on the website for you to go in and edit your information and a link for you to declare an alternate partner. It just takes up a little extra time, and if you're not as fast on the computer as maybe someone else, you might miss your chance to be in the Alabama Bass Trail. Alternate partners can be used at one tournament throughout the year, but not at the championship. You will still get your points if you use your alternate partner, but you can only use that person one time. So just make sure that after you register, we'll put the link up after registration closes. You can go back in and edit your information as well as edit your alternate partner information. The next screen that you'll go to, guys, will be your boat information. We want to know, are you in a Phoenix? Do you have a Yamaha? Are you with a Garmin Electronics, Garmin trolling motor? Do you have a Toyota? And are you using power poles? All of that are going to be individual questions, and they're going to be drop-down menus. You'll go to the arrow, it'll drop down, it'll give you every type of boat that there is. You can click what type of boat, you can click your motor, you can click your tow motor, you can click or your tow vehicle, your trolling motor, your shallow water anchors. All of that is simple drop-down menus. Just go through and highlight those. We want to make sure if you're part of the Captain's Cash for Power Pole. We also want to know if you're part of the Yamaha Power Pay. Are you a Phoenix First Flight participant? We want to make sure that we get you all of your contingency money that is available to you, and that's how we track that. It is also very good for us to know that in the event that you do not check in at a tournament in the afternoon, we know what type of boat that you're in, and we can identify you based on that. So please make sure that you do enter that information. We are aware that people change boats throughout the year. We're aware that you may have motor trouble. You may have to use your partner's boat. Yes, you can use different boats. We just need to know that on Friday before the tournament. like I said, to make sure that if there's any contingency money that's there that we need to award you at the end of the day. But we do allow you to use multiple boats throughout the year. You do need to make sure that you have $100,000 liability insurance on your boat. That is the minimum that we accept here at the Alabama Bass Trail. The next screen that you go to is going to be the bonus programs. It's going to ask you if you're Phoenix First Flight. It's going to ask if you finance with AmFirst. It's going to ask you if you purchased your boat from Wadowee Marine. It's going to ask you if you use Garmin Rewards products, Yamaha Power Pay, and Atlas Awards. Those are the ones that we track here at the Alabama Bass Trail. There may be some other contingency programs out there, as well as the Captain's Cash through Power Pole. So those are the ones that we do. That's the ones we track, and those are the ones that we communicate with those sponsors about who the participants are. So please make sure that you go through there, use those drop down arrows, choose all of those, and then you'll go to the next page. The next page is where you're going to let us know if you're wanting to be a couples team, student team, college team. You also are going to agree to the terms and conditions. I would encourage you to read those. I know a lot of you won't because you're trying to get in so fast, but I do encourage you to read the rules and the terms and conditions, and then click next. And that's when you're going to go to your payment screen. The payment screen is very simple. It is your credit card number, your expiration date, and your CSV code. Click submit only one time, because if you click submit multiple times, it will hit your account multiple times. So please make sure that you do not hit submit. Give it just a few seconds. It will return you an email on your screen. It will give your team ID and PIN number, or it will tell you you've been added to the wait list. Traditionally, once you log on and you click North Division, it will tell you this division is closed. You will now be added to the wait list. It does not charge you to go to the waiting list. You're never charged unless you actually make it into the series. So I would encourage you to be added to the waiting list if you seriously want to fish the Alabama Bass Trail, because each year we do have 5 or 6 teams that we have to replace. Something happens, job changes, personal situation changes, and they can't participate. So please make sure that if you want to fish the Alabama Bass Trail, that you do go ahead and add yourself to the waiting list. And it is usually closer to December before we have those people back out. But if we do, we will contact those, and we contact them based on the order they are on the waiting list. I will not jeopardize my job to get one of my buddies in. You can ask any of them, they'll tell you. I have several buddies that are changing partners this year, and they understand they have to wait until the 15th to register. So please make sure that you do that. I will give you a couple of tips about your credit card and your debit card. If you are using a debit card, you must clear it with your bank that you can use it up to $1,300 on an online purchase. Most banks have a $1,000 limit. So please make sure that you talk to them either on Friday to make sure that you have enough limit on Monday morning. If not, your credit card will not go through, and you'll be forced to do the $500 non-refundable deposit. And at that point, guys, I can't help you there. So I can't refund it if something were to happen. So please make sure that your bank will allow you to do a online debit purchase for $1,300 or do the $500 non-refundable deposit. Credit cards, we don't typically have an issue there. Just make sure that you have the credit card number, the expiration date, and the CSV code there ready to type in. Once your registration is complete, you're going to get a blue screen. It's going to pop up. It's going to have your team ID and your PIN number in big, bold red letters. Please screenshot that. Keep it. You will need your team ID and PIN number at a later date. So please keep those. Screenshot it. You will receive an email just immediately after that from us. If you don't receive it in 5 minutes, check your spam. But again, it does have graphics on it. It may go to your spam folders just simply because it has so many graphics on it. I will encourage you, if you have any questions while we're going through this stuff, please post those in the comments. If I don't get to it tonight, I will respond to you in the comments section, either tonight or tomorrow. Also, I mentioned this ahead of time, your team ID and PIN number is very important, especially if you do not assign your alternate partner, or if you are going to need to make changes to your registration later on. And let me let me also just remind you, if you are a team that is registering during the priority registration and you go in to edit your information, you cannot edit that team member's name. It will not let you. So please make sure that you don't try to do that. But the only way to assign your alternate or to make changes to your reservation would be through your team ID and your PIN number. So please make sure that you screenshot that. Um, Also, I want to make sure that I am very loud and clear. The deadline for all changes to your registration and to add your alternate is January the 11th of 2023. Close of business. So that would be 5 p.m. close of business on January the 11th of 2023. So do not call Kay Donaldson at 9 p.m. that night to say, I need to add an alternate. It will not happen. Um, Simple as that. It will not happen. I probably won't answer the phone, but it's not. It's just not going to happen. We give you specific times to do something. You have 6 months to do it. If you cannot do it within 6 months, 4 hours after close of business is not acceptable. So we are a grown-up trail. You are fishing against the best of the best of the best from the east, from the Midwest to north, south. These are the best anglers that you will compete against in an amateur trail. So we treat you like professionals, and that's how we would like for you to treat us. Also, we do know that you move. We know that you get married, you have babies, you buy bigger houses, you change boats. We understand that. We give you full opportunity to go in and make your changes. If you were to move after January the 11th, that's fine. You can email me. I'll make the change after that. But based on what we have on January the 12th, when I walk in the door, that is what we're operating on. That is what we're making our mailing labels from. That is what we're emailing your tax information to, your rules acknowledgement. That is what we're sending that stuff out to. So please make sure that that information is correct. And like I said, we'll have that link up the day after registration closes so that you will be able to do that. So the question we have is, I don't have a big boat. With that being said, can I fish out of an 18-foot with a 115 horsepower engine? Yes, you can. We do not have a horsepower restriction. However, if you come in an 18-foot boat and you have a 300 on the back of it, we are going to check your manufacturer's plate to make sure that your boat is rated for the engine that is on the back of it. Typically, if you come through with a 300 engine, just be prepared for our team to take a look at your rating plate. That is something that we do to ensure that everyone is on a level playing field. We're very strict about that. So just being honest, we are trying our best to keep everyone honest and keep everyone on a level playing field. So we do not have a horsepower restriction, so you can fish out of an 18-foot with a 115. Lee, a student team is any team that has a student and an adult or two students. They do not have to fish for their local high school team, but they do have to fit within that 7th grade or 12 years of age through 18 and cannot have started their first semester of college when you register. So if your child or your student is a senior in high school this year, they can register in August, but they couldn't register as a student the following August. They would have to be as they're going into their senior year. We say 7th grade through 12th grade and haven't started college yet. That's what we consider a student. This year, we did have two students fish together, Fisher and Nye and Brody Hopper. They fished two students together, but most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, it is a student and one adult. And that is considered a student team as well. All right. I am keeping an eye on the comments, so please make sure that you post like I said, your questions there, anything like that, that I might be able to help you with. Again, the reason I'm going over all of this is we have just been inundated at the office with phone calls, text messages, Facebook messages, and emails. That is correct. We have a lot of really great sponsors at the Alabama Bass Trail. If you haven't followed us for a long time, we do pay over 113% of our entry fees back to our anglers, and we're only able to do that because of the great sponsors that you see on this jersey, that you'll see on our backdrop. If you haven't watched the Alabama Bass Trail Tournament Series TV shows, you can go to our Facebook page. We have links to shows that we've just had this year. there, as well as you can always go to our YouTube channel and see shows from prior years, so that you can kind of get an understanding of how the TV show works. We do 4 hours of live coverage on the water, as well as a live weigh-in at every tournament. So everything that we try to do is we do it as professional as possible. We have a great team that works with us. We have 10 to 12 men and women that are on the site on Saturday morning to help you get in the water. If you are thinking about fishing as a couples, and I'll be honest with you, that's been one of the biggest requests that we've had this year is about couples teams. And your wife or girlfriend or aunt or whoever you may be fishing with is not comfortable backing the boat in, we have a team of guys that are happy to help you get your boat backed in. Our team works extremely hard to make your experience pleasant. We can't go out there and catch the fish for you, but we can make sure that your experience, everything we have control of, can be as pleasant as possible. So I will let you know all registrations are done online at alabamabasstrail.org. Click on register. It's going to be on the far right hand side of your of the website. It'll be a big bold red print. Click register, and then you'll start your registration from there. You cannot call in the office. We are not there. Monday morning, 1 week from today, we will go live about 5:30, getting everyone ready. We will let you know how many spots we have available. Today, we had about 103 spots already taken in the North Division, and it was like maybe 100, 101 in the South. So we do have a good mix already registered. We only sell 225 spots in each tournament. So we will not exceed the 225 boat maximum in each division. Clint, are we going back to mandatory meetings on Friday evenings? That has not fully been made. I can tell you what we're leaning toward is that we will do a mandatory meeting at the first tournament in each division. That is the Alabama Bass Trail 100, the Alabama Bass Trail North, and Alabama Bass Trail South. We will do that. We will take our team photographs that you'll see during the live leaderboard, during the live weigh-in. We take photos. We do have our first mandatory meeting where we go over all 29 of the rules, do photos and things like that. So right now, that is where we're leaning toward, is to do that. You've been very responsive in watching the lives. We've not had a tremendous amount of mistakes made by not having the meeting. So that's kind of where we're leaning toward, especially with high gas prices right now. We do have guys who fish with us, guys and ladies from 12 different states. So we try to understand that, and we know that gas prices are high, and we want you to be able to practice as much as possible and spend your money inside the towns that we go to. So that is where we're leaning. I can't promise that right now, but at this time, that's kind of where we're leaning. But that's a great question. I do encourage you, if you have not watched any of the Alabama Bass Trail Live, we do have 3 roaming cameras out on the water. We do as much as we can to bring as much exposure to you and your team as possible. You might be asked to run a camera. We might ask to just put a tracking device in your boat so that we can follow you at a later time. But that is all part of it. You'll get familiar with that very soon as you register. I will say I over communicate, so you may get tired of seeing messages from me, but just know that I pass along information because it has been asked of us. And this year, I will tell you, it has set records with the number of people that have asked for information on the 2023 season. And why I have that, I will go ahead and just kind of go over the 2023 season. And I'm going to be doing this off the top of my head, so I hope I can remember. For the North Division, we will kick off on February the 11th at Lewis Smith Lake at the Smith Lake Dam in Jasper, Alabama. Our second stop is March the 18th at Lake Gunnersville at Lake Gunnersville State Park. Our third stop would be at Neely Henry Lake on April the 15th. We will be going out of Coosa Landing there in downtown Gadsden. Our fourth stop, our May stop, I think it is May the 13th. It is at Pickwick Lake over in Florence, Alabama. It'll be going out of McFarland Park. And our fifth and final stop will be Wheeler Lake at Ingalls Harbor, Indicator, Alabama, which is my hometown and the hometown of the Alabama Bass Trail. Our South Division is going to kick off at Lake Martin, and it will be kicking off there on February the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm going off the top of my head, and I probably shouldn't do that. Then we are going to be going to Lay Lake. I believe March the 11th is Lay Lake. Then after that, April the 29th will be the third stop down on Lake Eufaula. And then our fifth stop will be, gosh, I knew I was going to forget. Oh, no, Logan Martin Lake. Uh, May the 20th at Logan Martin Lake at the beautiful new facility at Lincoln Landing in Lincoln, Alabama. And then your fifth and final stop will be at the Alabama River at Cooters Pond. And we will round up and do our Angler of the Year there. Again, our championship is in October. It's the third weekend in October. I think it's the 21st and 22nd of October. It is that weekend, that Friday, Saturday. The full field does fish both days. It is a no entry fee tournament for $100,000. $50,000 go into the first place prize winner. And hopefully, if you're in a Phoenix boat and you financed it through AmFirst, you purchased it out with Dowie and have all the bells and whistles with Power Pole, Garmin Electronics, Yamaha Power Pay, you'll get over $60,000 in prize money. So we have all the major contingencies out there. So we encourage you to make sure that you are signed up for all of them as well. Chris has got both schedules up there. I'm making sure that I did say that right. I did. May 20th is Logan Martin Lake. But that is your 2023 schedule. I will say, we say that the road to the team championship and the road to the Bassmaster Classic comes through the Alabama Bass Trail. For 2 years running, the Alabama Bass Trail has taken home this trophy. And we will send 19 teams to the Bassmaster Team Championship this year from the Alabama Bass Trail. So we pay your entry fee to that. It's a $500 entry fee that we pay for you, as well as we do pay your $20 fee to get your team membership. Shane Patterson, this is the best trail going, so let's fill this thing up and let's go fishing. Thank you so much, Shane. Shane is a former winner on the Alabama Bass Trail. They won down at Lake Martin a couple years ago. Fantastic guy. I encourage you to talk to any of the guys who fish the Alabama Bass Trail. They may not always agree with our decisions, but they understand that we always have the anglers' safety and your needs and your wants at the highest level. Also, the Alabama Bass Trail will pay out an additional $10,000 next year. We'll do two $500 places extra. 75th and I believe 150th place will receive $500 next year in honor of our 10th year anniversary. And then also we will pay, not only will we give the $500 to the teams that make it to the Alabama Bass Trail to the championship, we'll also give them $500 to go toward their travel expenses. So in all, we're going to give away an additional $18,000 next year in honor of our 10th season. So excited to be able to do that. And we couldn't do it without the great sponsors that you'll see all over our website, all over everything that we do, all over everything that we wear. So please make sure that if you have a chance to purchase from one of them or use one of their products, make sure that you do that. So guys, we are still, if you have any questions, you see this late, you didn't get here during the live, feel free to post your questions in the comments section. I promise you, Scott or I will respond to you. We will do everything within our power. The tips that I have for you is just to make sure that you have all of your information ready. Make sure you have everything written down, easy for you to read. Make sure that you have your computer ready. Make sure that you're watching Facebook Live on Monday morning about 5:30. I will announce that registration is open. While we're talking, I'll be watching registrations as they come in. I will announce when each division is closed. I do strongly encourage you to be ready somewhere between 5:45 and 6 o'clock. So it will flip at that sometime. I don't have control over that. We have an IT guy that is off site that will be taking care of that for us. So I don't have control over that. So I don't have an opportunity to tell my buddies ahead of time. I promise you that is all taken care of, away from me. I don't have control of that. So if you don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead. Chris and I will sign off for tonight. I will continue to monitor the comments here. Know that we are excited to not only finish out 2022 with a bang and award someone $50,000 at our championship, We have another Alabama Bass Trail 100 coming up in November at Pickwick Lake. But then to get started on the 2023 season, which will be the 10th season for the Alabama Bass Trail. Can't believe the 10th season is here, and we would not be here without the red and green lights that you guys put on the water each Saturday morning. Again, registration for new teams starts August the 15th at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time or Alabama time. You can find out by going to alabamabasstrail.org, click on register, and as soon as you see that screen that gives you an option to choose North or South Division, that is go time. So I look forward to seeing you back here next Monday morning. Hopefully, Alan, you're going to be giving me the thumbs up that you got in, along with a number of new teams. To those teams who still have 6 days of priority registration left, get those registrations in. We look forward to seeing you guys again. We have a lot of teams that have fished with us all 7 years, or all 9 years, I apologize. And we have some that have fished with us 7 and 8 years. So we look forward to seeing you on the Alabama Bass Trail. I'm going tomorrow to pick up new Alabama Bass Trail swag. So looking forward to getting that in. And we look forward to seeing you out on the trail. Chris, thank you tonight for tuning in. Scott, hope you're able to see things behind the scenes. We look forward to having you on the Alabama Bass Trail. Y'all take care. Good night. Good fishing, and go Falcons. Let's see. What is the entry fee? Skylar, it's $1,300, and that is for all 5 tournaments in a single division. So that does take care of all of your entry fees for your 5 tournaments in your division. And then it is a no entry fee championship later on in October. So $1,300, that's about $260 per tournament, but it's all paid in the $1,300 entry fee. All right, Mr. Sam, I see you're on here. Thank you. You know the drill. I think you're probably already signed up. So, all right, Chris, thank you so much for helping me tonight. I'll be watching these comments throughout the evening and into tomorrow. Y'all have a blessed night.